days, countries are in war. Millions of civilians are dying. But while some nations are fighting for freedom, some others are swimming in money, in luxury. So here's when we question ourselves. What are we doing wrong? It can't be possible that there still exists poverty, homeless people, malnutrition, and some people are living as if none of these problems exist. People looking desperately for refuges to avoid violence, to survive against adversity, to find peace which they lost in where they used to go home. All these problems are the ones to be concerned, because if we pay attention to the little hints, our general situation is very like to the ones in the two greatest wars, the First and the Second World War. This video focuses on how humanity is leading itself to a massive war, that somehow, even with the technology, it may not be enough to control all nations' attacks. Now going with the political issues. It all started with the victory of Donald Trump in the power of the United States. The world is going through rough times. Insecurity, bad politicians, war, and a lot of debts. Countries are in conflict, but how is all that going to stop? Humanity is blindfolded. However, have all of us think about the possibility of a World War III? War between North Korea and the US. Mr. Trump has threatened to totally destroy North Korea if the US was forced to defend itself, and repeatedly warned that all options are open to him. Second, China will not become the first superpower as of yet, but it will strengthen its power. Premier Li Keqiang, China's second-in-command, reaffirmed China's support for the Paris Agreement, stating that there is an international responsibility to fight climate change. And at last, the European Union and the United Kingdom reached a deal in December 3. Key issues were agreed upon: the money the UK will have to pay to the European Union, the rights of Irish and Northern Irish citizens, and the porous frontier between Ireland and North Ireland. Talking about the financial global crisis, many economies are still reeling from the global financial crisis. Now, at least, there is some emerging clarity about how the crisis changed the global economy, and what countries should do to protect themselves from future shocks. It is too early to tell whether the global crisis will permanently lower global growth, but clearly the global economic landscape has changed substantially since the crisis. An important question is whether vulnerability and adjustment to shocks has also changed. The study finds that a strong manufacturing sector is crucial for growth, especially in middle-income countries. This belies the notion that information and communications technology makes it possible for countries within an excellent ICT sector, like India, to bypass manufacturing and leapfrog from agriculture directly to services. Lower political polarization, greater exchange rate flexibility, and higher educational attainment also mitigate volatility. Political instability increases uncertainty for both firms and households. This can in turn lead to more volatile behavior, which translates into growth that is more volatile. For example, firms might change their investment plans abruptly in response to new political developments in a highly charged political environment. There are some organizations around the world that can help these kind of issues, starting, for example, with some of the United Nations as FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization, IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency, ICAO, International Civil Aviation Organization, IFAD, International Fund for Agricultural Development, ILO, International Labour Organization, IMO, International Maritime Organization, IMF, International Monetary Fund, ITU, International Telecommunication Union, UNESCO, United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UPU, Universal Postal Union, WVG, World Bank Group, WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization, WMO, World Meteorological Organization, UNODC, United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, WHO, World Health Organization, UNHCR, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. As these organizations, also they are non-governmental organizations that can help different issues around the world, like political, economical, and social issues.